This podcast is brought to you by sleepyj.com/beats. If you need a beat for your next album, mixtape, or demo project, check out sleepyj.com/beats. That's SLEEPEJ.com/beats. Warning, this podcast may offend some people unintentionally. So if you get offended easily, you are advised to turn off now. And if you're still here listening, thanks and enjoy the show. What's up with it, world? It's your boy Sleepy J. You tune in to Sleep Talking Podcast. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for checking me out each and every week. What is going on, guys? It is Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. I just want to say I appreciate everybody. As always, you know how it goes. Before I get into all the topics that I have listed, because there's a lot of smoke that's going on with Nicky Minaj, and there's new music that I want to talk about, and just a lot of stuff going on from the weekend and Monday, and now it's it's Tuesday. But before I get into it, there's a few things I got to get into. First of all, if you guys want to follow me, if you guys want to interact with me more outside of just listening to my podcast, follow me on Twitter at sleep_E_J. That's SLEEP_E_J. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at SleepyJ. That's SLEEPEJ. Comment on my pictures or videos or whatever I'm doing. I'm trying to be more active on them. I have fun on them. I like to interact with people on them. So hit me on there. If you got my number, text me. If you Facebook me, whatever it is. Also, guys, if you haven't liked the Sleep Talking Podcast page on Facebook, do that. I have questions on there throughout the week. Kind of helps me get things going for the show. Do all that. One last thing before I kick off the show. There's a new feature that Anchor is allowing for the supporters. If you guys would like to support us and continue the show by donating, a little bit of money to us, until we get merch up, this is how I'm going to have it set up. If you guys want to support us each and every month, you can make a donation. They have 3 different tiers of support. There's a 99-cent for the lowest support. Mid-tier support is $4.99, and a $9.99 for the premium. Nothing changes. You don't get anything extra, unfortunately. As of right now, it's just a little token of your appreciation for the podcast. If you would like to, it's greatly appreciated. If you don't, it's still greatly appreciated, as long as you're still listening and letting everyone know that the Sleep Talking Podcast is a thing and that I talk about hip-hop music and things like that. And I will continue to give you content that you guys are enjoying, I hope. All the political stuff out of the way, we can get this episode started. Let's see here. Before we get with the smoke of everything that's going on, we will talk about, let's see, Jim the Anvil Neidhart passed away at age 63. If you guys don't know, he was a wrestler in the 90s, part of Owen Hart and Bret Hart's family. They did like a big tag team family match in the mid-90s. I was a big fan of wrestling in the 90s. So I thought that was sad to see at the age of 63. I didn't really see what he passed away from, but prayers out to his family. As of right now, I don't know. I haven't heard, but Aretha Franklin is still alive. She's in hospice. She was hospitalized yesterday afternoon. Now she's on hospice. She's 76 years old. Prayers out to her family. Hopefully she can pull through. But once you're on hospice, it's usually, it's just a matter of time after that. Shout out to the Carters, Beyonce and Jay-Z. They did a concert out there in, I think it was in Detroit. And they dedicated it to Aretha Franklin. So shout outs to them for just, giving that moral support and showing that love to the great Aretha Franklin. If you guys don't know who she is, she had a song. She was part of the Motown family back in the day. She did this, what was that song? Respect, and I don't know, she had a bunch of, she just had a bunch. She's a she is a staple of the Motown dynasty that was there. So guys, if you guys don't know, go back, check her out. But the older people that listen, that's what that is. Before I forgot to mention this. Last I checked, that was early this morning, in around 4 in the morning. Last I checked, the Sleep Talkin podcast on Spotify is showing up in the music tab at like somewhere around 120 or 140, somewhere around 145, 147 ish, I think it is, which is dope. Last week we were at like 270, so now we're in the top, 147 ish area. And that's they don't have numbers next to it, but from the way I see it, whenever you click on the podcast section of Spotify and you click on the music podcast, they have like 4 rows of and in each row there's 4 podcast showings. I counted down to where I see mine, and it looks like we are at like I said, 147, 148 ish, which is super dope because, like I said, last time I checked, we were showing at like 270 to almost 280, which is dope just to see the progress. Sorry, that was a side note. I didn't mean to, just jump off of talking about sad stuff, but that's exciting to me. I'm glad to see we're moving on up. I'm trying to get into that top 100, and then if I get to the top 100, then I'm going to try and get into the top 50 and be somewhere in that top 20 someday. So just keep sharing, keep liking, and letting people know that the Sleep Talkin podcast is a thing. But back to my news stuff. I apologize for just running off into that random-ass, weird-ass, exciting tangent for myself. If you guys don't know, I'm not really going to get into the whole Trump thing this week, mostly because I don't give a fuck about this topic. I kind of agree with Charlamagne with this, but Omarosa's on this whole press tour, probably for her, I think it's for her book, really, and she's been releasing audio about, she's been releasing audio from her time in the White House that she was secretly recording stuff, which I understand is illegal. Or from my understanding, it's supposed to be illegal. I'm not sure about all that, and I really don't care about it because Omarosa said that she heard Donald Trump use the N-word before she got into the White House, and while she was in there, she had heard him use it again, and that's when she realized that he wasn't what she thought what he was. And Charlamagne said, I don't understand the problem. You knew all this beforehand, so now, but you still didn't get fired, or you still got fired. So, which is true. If you knew all these bad things about Trump, you didn't quit. You didn't quit on your moral ground. You actually took you getting fired to leave the White House. So I agree with Charlamagne with that. You guys can look more into it if you want to. I don't care. I don't care about Omarosa, never did. I don't really care about her feuding with Trump because that's Trump's fight for this week. So, if you guys want to look into it, go ahead. Let's see here. I'm going to get into the smoke with that in a second. Let's see here. Before I get into all the smoke that's going on in hip hop, let's go ahead and just get these trash ass people awards out. That officer in Baltimore, he's a black officer. He beat up a civilian on the street, caught completely on camera. He threw them hands like he was fighting Mike Tyson, and he beat that dude's ass. I'll tell you that much. He gets a trash ass people award just because it didn't look like the guy was fighting. He just told the officer not to touch him. They were having some words, but the officer stole off on him. He was fighting him like he was fighting Mike Tyson in the 90s. He was giving him the business. And as a result, I want to say, shout out to the Baltimore Police Department for actually firing the guy. Well, he didn't get fired. He actually resigned, and they accepted it. But nonetheless, he's no longer an officer. He's a trash-ass person just for beating that dude's ass. I didn't see a reason for him to be doing that. It was ridiculous that he I mean, he beat that dude's ass. And it didn't, I mean, I don't know. It looked like he was being harassed like he was just harassing the guy, and the guy was just like, leave me alone type shit. But, yeah, that was some bullshit. If you guys didn't see that, I think the girl was in North Carolina. She was out there basically saying everything but I'm a white girl, I shouldn't be getting arrested. She was like, I got a good GPA, I went to a good college, I was almost valedictorian, I'm pretty, and she said everything but I'm white, please don't lock me up. And the officer said he locked her up because he just could tell that she was drunk by the things that she was saying. And she tried to use her white privilege, which I don't blame her. You know, do what you got to do to get out them tickets to try and get out of trouble. But she was out here. You shouldn't be locking me up. He's like, what do you mean by that? And she never. I mean, she was smart enough never to say because I'm white and pretty. She just like let it be what it. You know, she just kept saying because I'm pretty, I'm smart, I got a good GPA. You're gonna ruin my life. Which I did hear she lost her job at the realty company that she was working for, and that's just like, yo, you just fucked up. You know, she's a trash ass person because she knew she was trying to use her white privilege for it. And I mean, this is just fucked up news. That guy a few weeks ago in Florida, there was the white man got shoved by a black man and he shot him. Just to refresh your guys' memory if you guys don't remember. In the situation, a black man pulls up with his kid and his girlfriend, parks in a handicapped parking spot just to run inside for a second. He runs inside. While he's inside, a white man pulls up, starts yelling at his girlfriend for parking in a handicapped spot. The black man comes out, sees his girlfriend getting yelled at. He runs up, shoves the guy down to the ground. The guy shoots him in the chest, and the white guy shoots the black guy in the chest. The black guy starts to walk away. Eventually, he bleeds out to death from the shooting in his chest or whatever. And initially, the police officers are saying like he's not the white man is not in trouble for the stand your ground law, which I kind of figured that was going to happen. Well, the court system as of right now, they're charging him with manslaughter, which I don't know if time. Well, I'm sure there's some time possibility. But more than likely, he probably won't have time served, like have to do time for it. They'll just give him a murder charge, and that's more of like this is a crime of passion or in the moment type thing. But each state is different, so I don't know how that's going to work. But at least he's not getting away 100% scot-free. He might have some time to do maybe some community service or something like that. So that's kind of a step in the right direction. Again, stand your ground law makes it a very gray when it comes to situations like that. But I still stand on that man didn't deserve to get shot. If he would have still been on top of the guy whenever he shot him, like getting ready to beat on him or something, that would have made more sense for a stand your ground thing. But he pushed him, backed away, and then he got shot. Just my opinion for whatever that's worth. But let's get with the smoke. There's so much smoke going on right now. On the lighter side of the smoke, YG is claiming to sue. He's going to sue American Airlines because last night he got kicked off the airlines. He said he was sober. They're saying he's drunk. I don't know which one is right in that sense. The video was kind of shaky. It could have been that he was just trying to get it out as he was walking away. It could have been he was drunk. I'm not sure. But it's interesting because the airlines lately have been in the news so much lately with people getting beat up and dragged off or kicked off wrongfully or people being made to move their seats. And it just, airlines in general, not just American Airlines, just airlines in general lately have been in the news so much lately. So I'm just kind of interested to see how that's going to go. Speaking of airplanes and airlines like that, did anyone see the video of the plane? It looked like one of those private jet airline, twin engine planes that did an emergency landing on the highway. It was crazy. I seen the video on Instagram. It was like some people were just videotaping saying like, oh, that plane's flying really low, and then all of a sudden on the highway it lands and they just like, oh my god, pull up behind it, turn your emergency lights on, and they got out to check on the guy to see what was going on. But it was just crazy. Like, I live next to an airport. To just think like someone just randomly, I mean, by my house would be a 747, wouldn't be a little private plane, but it'd still be interesting just to see someone land a plane on the highway like that, or even off to the side just to avoid an accident or something like that. And just imagine if you got hit by that plane though, and you were trying to call up your insurance, like, yeah, I got in an accident. Oh, okay. What was involved? A plane hit me in the back. Like, that's crazy to me just to think like things like that are happening. There's also some crazy person stole a plane. Last week I think it was someone tried to steal a plane to go to a Beyonce and Jay-Z concert. This week somebody stole a plane that was like, I think they worked at the airport. They got on the plane, they stole it. They were doing like barrel rolls and loop-de-loops and stuff like that just to see if they could. The airlines were trying to talk him down, and he eventually crashed, I think, into a small island off the, he eventually crashed, like he said, I think into a small island. But that guy was crazy. He kind of talked about it. He said like they released audio saying how he had said his family didn't realize that didn't know he was that crazy. He just realized it as he was still in that plane, that he had a few screws loose, and he was apologizing to his family and friends for them not knowing or whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff with airplanes lately, so I just kind of thought that was interesting. YG suing American Airlines. I'll be interested to see what happens with that, because a lot of times once this gets out that like someone's celebrity or something gets viral, the airlines are quick to issue statements or retract it and apologize and give people everything but a blow job or something like that. But the next in the smoke line, Kanye West on Jimmy Kimmel. Initially it was being praised because Jimmy Kimmel hit Kanye with Donald Trump's doing all these things, separating families from, parents and kids from their families with these border wars, and a lot of people don't like Trump, and then you're siding with them, and Kanye kind of got stumped for a second, or at least he was trying to really think about an intelligent answer to say, and Jimmy Kimmel went to commercial, and then since everyone was like praising Jimmy Kimmel for it, Kanye eventually comes out trying to, say his piece about how time restraints and whatever. Jimmy Kimmel kind of backed him up with the whole like, yeah, we didn't really get to dive into it because of the TV show, don't really, basically trying to lighten the load on Kanye. In my opinion about this, first of all, I'm kind of convinced that Kanye is he knows that he's trolling. In that same interview, he did say he likes to piss people off. He likes when they're all up in an uproar. So maybe he does this on purpose. Maybe he legitimately just is there for the smoke. Maybe he just wants all that smoke. That's the only thing I can think of. Other than sometimes I think that he just thinks so fast that he's not necessarily able to respond, because he doesn't want to be stumped, so he tries to choose his words wisely. That's what happens to me a lot of times. Whenever I'm talking to people or whenever I'm trying to explain something, I take my time to respond, and a lot of times like it gets people mad because like, why won't you say something? But it's because I'm trying to choose my words right, so that way they can't be misconstrued or misunderstood. So maybe that's what he's trying to do. Just my thought about that. It could also be that Kanye is just so busy with everything else that he doesn't pay attention to things in the news, like what the president is doing. He's not, once upon a time he was still up and coming, and he was still dealing with the community on a one-on-one basis, versus now he's constantly dealing with paparazzi and being the news, as opposed to being able to just kind of see things and occasionally get in front of a camera. Now he's constantly in front of the camera, especially being part of the Kardashian Jenner clan. They always got cameras and paparazzi, and they're always making the news. So it's different from that side. I'm just kind of speculating. I don't know for sure. I would imagine that's part of why he doesn't necessarily know all the stuff that's going on all the time. And then also to throw into that, like, Lil Wayne got into some trouble a while back because he had said like he didn't think racism existed today because he sees white people at his concerts and white officers always, been there for him. And I remember people were all up in arms about that, but I think Kanye was again Lil Wayne is a result of he's always in the studio and doing concerts. He's not necessarily watching things from that perspective of on the other side of the camera or in privacy, because when he's not in front of the camera, he's working on music or at a concert or something like that. When you are the news constantly, maybe you just don't get into that mode of seeing what's going on, especially like because you got so many people working for you and in your face all the time versus when you're on the come up or you're still kind of in that transition of leaving your neighborhoods or talking to people from your neighborhood. Like they've been so rich and famous for so long, they're not talking to those people like that. So not making excuses, that's just a thought that I was thinking about. Also, back to Kanye. Kanye released this song, I think it's called Ecstasy. If you guys didn't hear it, I don't know, I don't really care for the beat, it wasn't that good. But it was funny because he talks about how beautiful his in-laws are and how everybody, he talks about how like you have one in-law that you wouldn't want to hit. He's got 4 that he would. He's like talking about jerking off to their picture. And I just thought it was funny because I was like, yeah, I think most guys have that same sentiment about his in-laws. They've all, all guys have probably jerked one off to his in-laws. I don't know. I just thought it was funny, so I would bring that up. But on with the big smoke going on right now. Nicki Minaj, she's on her promo tour for her new album called Queen. I'm gonna get into my review for the album in a second. But Nicki Minaj, like she wants all the smoke for real, guys. Like she and her barbs are going hard at everybody for talking shit. From my understanding, Nicki Minaj did an interview with Clue. Clue asked for a drop for Self, DJ Self, and Nicki said no, didn't give him no hug. She kind of shaded him. Now, if you guys don't know, DJ Self is from Love and Hip Hop, New York. He has a record label called Gwenin, Mariah Lynn, Dream Doll. I think once upon a time Cardi B was associated. I don't know if he necessarily had her signed or nothing, but I know they worked together a little bit. And from my understanding, Self said that Cardi B's album was better than Nicki's album. That's Self's reason for why they're going off, or she went off on him. She didn't really say her side of why she was going off, but she went off. The barbs got riled up. Late last night, I seen that they had Mariah Lynn's phone number out on the internet. They had released a sex tape of Dream Doll. They had a naked picture of DJ Self. It got real nasty real fast. I see Mariah Lynn was trending on Twitter, so that's where I got all that extra information. I did see on Baller Alert the tweets between Nicki and DJ Self, and Nicki was definitely giving DJ Self a lot of shade on that. Then like from all that, it looked like Safaree stepped in. Safaree kind of gave his 2 cents about Nicki. He goes on his Twitter rant. Then Nicki goes off on him too. It was obviously stuff about the relationship. Safaree was like, look, you're on your promo run, I support you, I love you, but if you beefing with me and Self and VH1 and everybody like that helps you sell more records, then I'm honored to help you, but you need to quit saying all these, all this stuff. And Nicki kind of went off. She was talking about, I don't know, you got to see their back and forths to really get the grasp of it, because it got messy and there's a lot of emotion behind it. And if you guys don't know who Safaree was her boyfriend when she first came out, always in the background. She never claimed him, which I thought was kind of crazy that it was her boyfriend that she never claimed. at least not until towards the end. And then by that time, they were breaking up. So it's all interesting. It's all a little funny to me how that worked out. But yeah, so Nicki Minaj is with all the smoke, guys. So if you guys want to get into it with the Barbs and her, trash her and her album, and I'm sure she'll give you guys a smoke. But moving on to my music this week, I don't have a whole lot of music to review. I'm gonna start out with this. I probably should start with Nicki, but I'm gonna end with the Nicki stuff. I'm gonna start out with Mac Miller. I revisited his album because somebody tweeted me or texted me and told me that he was a talented kid. And I won't deny Mac Miller is talented. I personally am just not a fan of Mac Miller singing and rapping. I'm more of I'd rather hear him rap than sing, and I'm not really with his melodies and his melody rapping thing that he's got going on. I did revisit it. I will give him, he's talented. I still like his personality more than I care for his music. Again, I might not be in the headspace for the Mac Miller album, but that's just my personal opinion. Shout outs to Bert for that. But moving on, Trippie Redd had an album called Life's a Trip. If you're interested into listening to some like mumble rap, singing type music, check it out. It's not my cup of tea. I don't really fuck with it. Yeah, that's all I got to say about it. I kind of quickly, skimmed it. I kind of got a vibe for what it is. I'm not really into it. I'm not a Trippie Redd fan like that, so he won't be getting too many spins from me on that. Frost Money's the homie. I just wanted to plug his song called I Wanna. It's available on Spotify. It's available on all, even Tidal. It's available on all the platforms as far as for streaming services, or if you want to buy it, go for it. Show Frost Money some love. It's got an MJ sample. He's got Mookie Talver on it. Sounds like some LL R&B hip hop type shit. Check it out. It's one of my favorite tracks out right now by Frost Money. Also, Keith B. He's a very talented R&B singer out of St. Louis. He's a good dude. I met him a couple times, talked to him a few times. I just found out he has a new single out called Ride or Die. It's not Ride or Die. It's Rida, Rida, Die. It's his new single that he's pushing right now. It's dope. It's sexy R&B type stuff. Check it out. Very talented kid. He's only I think he's barely 20, if that. Very talented kid. I like seeing him out here grinding. He says he's got a new mixtape or EP coming out soon called Deja Vu 2. Deja Vu 1 was dope, so I'm interested to see what, him grow as an artist and see what kind of sounds he's got coming out. But check him out. If you guys don't know how to spell Keith B, it's Quise, the letter B, Keith B. Check him out on all your streaming platforms. I'm pretty sure that's where his music is. And finally, we are at the Nicki Minaj Queen album. Now, I don't know your guys' opinion. I don't know if you guys are fans of Nicki Minaj. I'm a fan of, bar spitters, shock value type things. She doesn't really shock me with anything she says, but my review of it, all the songs that we've heard leading up to the album are the standout songs. She's got this R&B-ish song towards the end of her album that was kind of dope, called Come See About Me. And I'm kind of liking the Coco Chanel song with Foxy, but I don't know. I'm not really sold on it yet. So maybe next week I'm barely digesting the album, kind of going through it over and over. 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I'm not really sold on the album, I'm not really sold on that song. I was a little disappointed in the track she did with Eminem, but every time she does a track with Eminem, I always think it's a weird combination. She always picks a whack ass beat to put Eminem on, or a whack ass song concept to put him on personally. In my personal opinion, every time I hear them collab, like I'm always excited to see Eminem on a track, and then I get let down whenever he works with Nicki, because it's always a weird, off the mark type of track, not something like, I don't know if it's him that picks the track to work on or if it's her that picks the track to work on, and it's never like a single type track. It's always just like an album filler, and I don't know, I guess M just kind of flexes his skill on it, or maybe she's trying to pigeonhole him so he doesn't outshine her, but it's never the best track in my opinion. But anyhow, yeah, the Nicki Minaj album Queen, I give it my stamp of approval. It's definitely got a 3.5, maybe a low 4 out of 5 approval rating for me. She's spitting. She's definitely feels aggressive with what she's saying right now. She's still trying to prove she's still at the top of her game. And she's got a few singles. She's got a lot of features with, newer artists to kind of keep her fresh. She's got some vets on there. She did that Dream song, paying homage to Biggie. So, I mean, she did a good album, in my opinion. She definitely is showing that she deserves her spot in the hip hop game, and people need to give her more respect than they have been giving her in the most recent time. My only real critique outside of me not liking the Eminem track is it's hard to listen to Nicki as a hip hop fan and sing along to it, because as a man, I'm not trying to talk about someone going down on a box. I'm not rapping along about eating my pussy and all that stuff, because I'm a man and I ain't got one. So it's that simple. I think that's where a lot of female rappers lose male fans whenever they're like that. And I only say that because, like, I'm a big fan of Snow Tha Product, but Snow Tha Product does a lot of songs about, like, partying or maybe being in her feelings, but she doesn't really talk about sex in her songs. I don't think I've ever heard her, if she has. So, and it's not in that raunchy of a level if she does. So, it's easy to be a fan of it and sing along to it. Remy raps very boisterous, too. She does get raunchy sometimes, but more times than not, she talks about how she's dope and all that good stuff. So I don't know, just my personal critique. Like, Nicki falls under that Lil' Kim level where, like, yeah, they get busy when they want to be flagrant, but when they get raunchy, they get a little bit too raunchy to where, like, yeah, I can't sing along to this because it's just not right. That's just my personal opinion, guys. And that's going to conclude this week's episode. Again, if you guys want to support us, go to anchor.fm/sleep-talkin. Go to the page, hit the support, pick the tier of support you guys want to do to support the podcast. It's greatly appreciated. I'm working on trying to get some merchandise for Sleep Talkin' Podcast, so that way you guys can show support by buying, t-shirts or something like that. So I will get that, lined up. I'm slowly working on stuff. I'm 15 weeks in the game. I appreciate you guys for checking me out, helping me raise in these rankings, helping the word get out. So please like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave comments. If you're following me on the Sleep Vision page on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing, commenting on there. All these things, they add up, lead me to the next thing, help me get further and further along. Also follow me on Twitter. It's at Sleep. It's SLEEP_E_J. You can follow me on Instagram, all one word, SLEEPEJ, Sleepy J. Those are my most active social medias. Also go to the Sleep Talkin' Podcast page. I ask questions. I let you guys know when the new episodes are out. I try to interact with you guys as much as I can on there. So, guys, if you guys want to hit me up on there, please do. Be a part of the community. Help me create a community. Yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys. And until next time, I'm sending peace, positivity, prayers, and light to everybody. Take it easy.